Okay, so we are on this on Facebook too. So if someone starts watching us on the Zoom, always can join to us to Zoom. If you can, or if you don't want to join to us to Zoom, you always ask a question on comment in our Facebook group, and I will be from time to time check it that someone writes something. And the information for all of you which will be watching watching this workshop, not live but after that, you are always can ask a question in the comment. So we'll be check this. So even if you who is right now with us, if you will be watching once again this workshop and have some new question, remember that you can always write to us, and I think we can start. So today our guest is Tatiana Lupascu, our another local partner who support us to the beginning of the project, and she have our first workshop. Tatiana 1 or Tatiana 2, maybe you want to add something. For me is all. So.
Yes, of course. I wanted to welcome you all. We start with the first learning event, and it is about evaluation workshop that will help you to understand what a geolocation means and to seek potential in your village or your challenge if you are an ICT talent, and to design the first draft of your touristic destination, because we have the challenge to transform or to help to transform your village, 5 villages from Moldova, into a touristic destination. And thanks to Tatiana, she's today with us. She is a tourism expert and will share with you knowledge and models on how to transform your village into an attractive touristic destination, or to feel and create the path through that. Tatiana has large experience in developing touristic destination, touristic routes, and she is like a library in tourism for me. So I'm sure she will share with you most valuable knowledge for you in this project. Please, Tatiana, let us know what we are going to do today.
Thank you, Tatiana, for the introductions. Thank you, Ioana. Nice to meet you all. With some of you already met also live at our first study visit in the field. With some of you, maybe we'll meet in the next weeks. So we a little bit started to work on these directions. So today we'll analyze how to evaluate the potential of a touristical destination, or a destination that means to become a touristical one. And that will be helpful for those who already had the study visit, but also to the rest of them, which the study visit will be in the next weeks. And I will try to do not only a monologue, but a dialogue as well. So from time to time, I will try to ask you to be active, to ask questions if something is not clear. And we'll make also some work together in the way that we are sure that we understood what I'm talking about. First of all, I would like to check if you hear me well. So this is the important thing. Okay.
I hear you well.
Okay, great. Then I will share my screen. Okay. One moment. to make it like full screen. So probably you already see my presentation, right? Okay, so as I was telling you, we'll talk today about evaluating a tourism effectiveness. What that means, you will see that a destination or a place can be attractive from different point of view. And first of all, we have to understand that our future visitor or tourists are different as we are with you different. So we like different things to see, to watch, to eat. The same is the visitor. So we have to evaluate the potential from different point of view in order not to miss someone from our potential audience for that destination. So as the girl already told you, I'm Tatiana Lupascu, I'm a tourism local expert, and we'll be in touch within this project and maybe later on as well. Talking about evaluation workshop, evaluation effectiveness, we'll try to touch more the villages as a touristical destination, because this is the project objective, to make a village more potential from the point of view of touristical effectiveness. So actually, we need to seek potential in villages and design as well the first drafts of a touristical destination, because actually having a first draft of a touristical destination will help you to design the proper application for the ICT part. Yes, because you first need to understand what that destination offers as the touristical one in order to promote it later on through different methods. So what we have to do in the first place, we already selected our geolocations from the villages. Actually, the part of selecting the geolocations can be the first one, but during the work or the process, you may understand that some of the location need to be changed or need to be added more, because analyzing, you see the potential. And we'll talk later on how we analyze the potential of some geolocations. And when I'm talking about geolocation, I'm saying not about the village itself, but the exact point on the map that represent, I don't know, a guest house, a museum, or anything else that could be interesting from the point of view of a visitor. Okay, till now it's clear, right? So if you have any question, please raise your hand and let me know. So actually, to be easier to understand the potential, we can talk about tourist values assessment. Yeah, so we'll analyze the values. And the values, actually, we analyze from different points of view. So we can analyze them scenic, scientific, cultural, and economical. Remember that the visitors are different. So we analyze also not from the point of view only of the museum, but as well economical, scientific, and so on, because our visitors could be anyone with any background. And to be easier, we'll understand that actually the touristical value itself is total, a sum of all of this. So you see here aesthetical value, scientific value, cultural or historical one, and social or economical one. So actually the tourist value is the sum of all these. And we cannot suppose that the cultural value is more important than the economical one or the scientific one, or any of them it's more important than like the other one, because actually we don't know for which tourist will be more important. Because, for example, if you have I don't know, a person passionate about I don't know, electricity, then his visit at the village will be totally different from an archaeologist that will look for some underground excavations and so on. So that's why it's not possible to say that this is more important than this one from general point of view. But to make it easier, we can go like one by one, having these values spread in more common to us, let's say, words that will be natural resources. So in each location, anyway, you'll have a natural resource. And we can analyze it from indicator as natural environment. That means relief, geomorphy, vegetation, wildlife, waters, landscape, or natural factors. So minerals, waters, therapy lake, therapy mud, or like protected area as well. We have a lot of protected area in our country. And by the way, you can even look for your villages, because even probably you don't know, but it might happen that your village has at least something that is related with the biosphere reserve, or national parks, or natural parks, so or any other reserve. Usually in any village we have these forests. Forest means as well vegetation, flora, fauna. So maybe in your village there are some elements that are really specific to your area, some birds that are flying only at your village for your lake. Yeah, so analyzing all these elements, you can understand better what is the potential from the natural point of view. That doesn't mean that you have to analyze all that I write it here. For the first step, you should start with what you know and what you think is more important, more visible, more known, to be easier to make the connections. And later on, you can research more and just add value to what you are doing now. Okay. So then we have the cultural resources. So when we are talking about cultural resources, we have here different cultural resources. So we have historical monuments, and that can be archaeology, architecture, monuments, memorials, or you can have museums. Museums can be museums or even public collections. So if you have in a village a private collection but is open to the public, it also can be considered as a museum. Maybe not at the stage as official museum registered in the Ministry of Culture, but still, if it's a public collection open to the visitors, it can be considered in your project. Arts and crafts, traditional events, custom, handcrafts. And by the way, when you have an art or craft that is can be found in your village, I will make you the challenge to think first what this art or craft is, how it is different from the same craft that is doing in another village. So for example, there are a lot of places in Moldova where women are waving carpets. So, okay, why the visitor should come exactly to your village, to your location, to participate in a masterclass or to watch how the carpets are waved, and not to go in another one. So this is only an example. You should think about that. Maybe in your specific area, the women are waving a carpet with a special tradition. They are starting, for example, in a special date with a special ritual, and then during the year they work at that carpet. Or they are using special patterns, special elements, symbols that are waved on your carpets and only in that village a certain element is used. So you should find something that is unique for your location, for your crafts or arts, in order to be special from the rest of the villages. Okay, if you have cultural institutions, philharmonic, orchestras, but as well as in the villages, there are also chorus. They can also be involved in your promotion from the point of view of touristical attraction, because actually they will help you with the next one, with events, festival, holidays. Festival and holidays, by the way, anyway, are organized in each village, because, for example, there is the Day of the Village, or Hramul Satului, as we would say in Romanian. And it's a festival and holiday organized each year at the exact day. This is also really important. When you have events, if an event is repeatedly organized at the same date or period, that is also a thing that you can promote to the visitors, even if it's a small event like the Day of the Village. Because, for example, if you promote it, come to visit us at the Day of the Village, and you'll know about us more, about our crafts, about our music and culture. And if the visitor will see that this is an exact date, he can plan his trip to you. Because otherwise, maybe he will come and see, oh, I don't know what exactly to see here and when, and or on the other hand, he will arrive like today, and we'll find out tomorrow that actually today was an event, but he didn't know about it. So if you have events that are taking place at the same date, or I don't know, the first weekend of October, as we have the wine day, yeah, this also can be indicated to attract visitors. Okay, we also need infrastructure for tourists in our locations. And infrastructure, I mean, we need to know what we have as infrastructure. That doesn't mean that you have to be perfectly with all the infrastructure that is needed for tourists. You just need to know what you have at the moment in order to promote it properly. So if you don't have hotels, you didn't need to stop your promotion until the moment you build a hotel in your village. This is not necessary, because actually in the villages, people are coming more for guest houses, for camping and things like that. But on the other hand, if you know that in your village there is a guest house or a place where you can organize a camping area, then this is a thing that needs to be known and promoted to the tourists as well. Because if they will come in a village, they will prefer to stay overnight. They will know, oh, I have a guest house, or I have a camping place, or I have it in the next village. So he knows already how to plan his trip. Well, if you have some indicators like treatments or conference halls, for example, conference halls are also really nice, because you can attract groups of travelers that are combining their work with journeys, let's say. Because we have like digital nomads. It's a word used more for people that are staying for like half a year in an area, working and traveling in that area. Maybe your village won't be a place for a half of a year, but why not to promote it for companies that are placed in Chisinau, for example, and they want a few days out of the office, but to have a place where they can work and can combine with some hiking to your hills or forests, and then to come back in the conference hall and do their work. So tourism infrastructure will be also, if we're talking about this kind of people, that will be also internet connection. So if you have a conference hall, a good internet connection in that conference hall, then you can promote the destination also to this type of visitors. Yeah. Okay, leisure facilities, that is more for special, let's say, location like mountains with cable transportations and so on. And any other leisure facilities, because, well, why not horse riding? Yeah, maybe you have in the villages some persons that have their horse and they can organize horse riding. With that, I will be, let's say, more attentive, because horse riding means some also element of risk. So it has to be done with the person that really know how to assure that everything will go like okay, and with the visitors will be everything okay while he's riding the horse. But anyway, you can like do that. Maybe you don't do the riding on the horses, but maybe you do the visit on a farm where you see horses, chickens, rabbits, and all these kind of animals. Because, for example, for families with kids, that could be a nice attraction. So they are coming to your village, they are visiting a rural area with rural animals that are living their daily life. Things that for a person from villages are not normal to see every day. Yeah. And of course, we take in consideration general infrastructure as accessibility to transport network, household equipment, and telecommunication. It's important to have access to your location and inform the tourists about it. And when I'm talking about access to your location, that doesn't mean that you need to have a highway or an airport in your village. It means that you have to inform your future visitors about the way they can arrive to you. And if it's a national road that it is not in it's not in a good condition, for example, you can say, well, the road takes, I don't know, 10 kilometers, but due to the rural infrastructure, you'll spend, I don't know, half an hour to arrive to us. Yeah. So then the tourist will think, maybe I will walk till the village or take a ride with some horses to arrive to the village, or any other options to arrive. And telecommunication, mobile phone coverage is also needed nowadays. It's something that is actually a normal daily life. But on the other hand, if you don't have a good phone connection in an area that you put it as a geolocation, for example, I don't know, you don't have a good connection in the woods, you can transform it into a positive way, saying that if you have a walk in our woods, you'll be disconnected of the modern world or the technology and things like that, and you'll immerse in the nature and the spirit of the nature. You'll hear the birds singing without being disturbed by some messages, some phone calls, and so on. So you can put the accents in this way. Yeah. We are okay till now? It's everything clear? Do you have any questions?
Everything is clear.
Okay, thank you, Irina. So, what I just told you till now was like a general view of a location from different points of view. And if we go in deep, then we go to analyze, to make it like a statement of significance to each of our locations from the village we selected. And we can separate it like, well, we can even make a document separated in two sections. Sections 1 is the asset ID, and section 2, the significance assessment. And I will give you just short information how to do that. It's not necessarily to do it properly on the paper, but at least to take it in mind when you plan your activities and your ICT product. So in the section asset ID, we have the name of the location we selected, because if we refer to a craft complex, we need exactly to know what we're talking about. If the place has a website, we have to take it into consideration. We need to know exactly the location where it's located, the street, the address, or the geographical location if we are talking about forests. The ownership. The ownership is also important, because if it's a private property, you will promote it in a way. If it's a public one, you will promote it in another way. If it's a natural reserve, then you need to take into consideration some rules of visiting that natural reserve. Yeah. Gallery, actually photos and videos that you will use in the future. But talking about the gallery, I will take into consideration not only pictures that you do now in the present, let's say, but maybe you have some old pictures from that village or from that place that are really important, have a story, have a background. You can use it to promote the location and to attract more visitors. Then we take into consideration the landscape elements, buildings that are around, street shapes, heritage, farming, vegetation, fauna, waters, everything that we are talking about a landscape. Either we are in the nature or in the village with the houses. Landscape can help you as well in your future production, because, for example, if the location is on a hill, then you have a better view to the village or to the forest or to anything else, and you can take that into consideration. Or if you have vegetation or fauna, you have some specific elements of vegetation that, like, for example, we have wild garlic that is present in the forest, like in this period of the year, like in March. So you will promote, oh, you can visit us in March, and you can also collect some wild garlic to enforce your body after a winter time. So you may attend to the nature experience and as well to the health of the people. So you attract them from two different points of view. One, they'll be in the nature, and on the other side, they will do something that will help them to be more healthy. Yeah. So every information that you have from the village, from the location, is helping you in promoting it later on. Dating period and functions. So we in the villages don't have, unfortunately, some old buildings that have changed maybe from time to time their destination. But on the other hand, we have, for example, the same churches that in the Soviet period were used like place for discos, or place for hospital, or things like that. That also can be a story. Dating also is important, because we need to know from what year is the place or the church or the monument. That will help also in connection with visitors from abroad, because you can tell to them, for example, this church is from that period of time, while Europe was conquered by Napoleon of France, and people already, maybe they don't know what exactly happened in the world in that century, but they know about Napoleon, and they will make, that's more or less in that period of time. So we need information about history and futures happening in the location. You'll be amazed how many history, information, and storytelling can be collected from people living in the villages, and all that information can be used later on in the promotion. And also we collect information about persons and events, history events, events and organizations that associate with the history of the building, sites, area, different period of time. That also will have to understand, to have a view of the potential and to promote it properly. So that will be like the asset ID, so like a general view of the location. And then we have section 2, the significance assessment. And here we have two parts, like the part of designation, that will be national one and UNESCO. National one, if by case you have something that is included in the national inventory of tangible or intangible cultural heritage of Republic of Moldova, you can take that into consideration. For example, we have the craft of traditional wall carpet craftsmen techniques. They are included in UNESCO heritage and as well in the national inventory of intangible heritage. This might be something more specific, let's say more academic, you would say, from one point of view. But from the other side, there are people that are looking for location that are listed UNESCO or national importance. And waving carpets is a tradition that was included in the UNESCO craftsman's UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity in 2016. And in the village, if you have a person that is still waving carpets according to the traditional rules, you can invite visitors in that village at that person to see how till nowadays this tradition is kept alive. And there are people that are instituted in this kind of crafts. Yeah. And considering all that we talked till now, we select, we like write the statement of significance. Why that place is significant. So that to understand why is so significant that place, we need to analyze it from all the point of view, from the natural point of view, from heritage, historical, and so on. So there are places that changed the way of history, how the history went in which direction. There are places where some natural elements changed the landscape. That also has a significant role for the location, for the community, and for the village, and maybe more wisely. Okay. So when we analyzed our location from as maximum as we could point of view, we can prepare the information for the pilot project. So selecting the most relevant, the most important at that stage. And we can consider like a regional analysis. So we can discuss, if we refer to international visitor, we can refer some information, some short information about country, region, where the place is located. That will be for us easier to understand than to whom we can address. And population and education and labor force, for example, can be even used like, look, we are a small country, but we still can do this and that and that. And in our villages, we are still drying plants and fruits, and you still can find in the winter time, everything prepared during the summer, like juices, jams, and so on. So all the information that are national one can be reflected in InnoVillage as well. And then we go to the asset planning form. This is a more complicated planning form, but anyway, you'll have it as a document. And I have here also put it later in the slides, I've put it as well, some example how to fill it in order that to be easier for you. But I'll go one by one so that you can have an idea what it is about. So we are talking about the asset name. So I mean like the craft complex of handmade blouses, let's say, as an example, yeah? And we understand that this is like a traditional craft. The ownership can be private or an NGO or anything like that. And then we need to understand the asset conditions: integrity, accessibility, surrounding atmosphere, interpretative potential. Why is that? So you have an asset that is really important, but is difficult to access. It's located in a place where the road is really bad, or the atmosphere is not prepared to receive visitors. So if you have something really, really important, but the person that is doing this craft, for example, is not ready to receive visitors, then you cannot promote it as a place for future visitors because the property is not open to that. Yes, so that's why we need to analyze how it is accessible and if it is possible to be visited and not to create any discomfort to the owners. Then we're talking about tangible aspects. So we create a brief descriptions, landscape visibility. If the place has some visibility or significant element, so visible or significant element. For example, we in the villages, usually people living there, they know everything, where it's located, where some house or some craftsman is living. But as a visitor coming there for the first time, you, without any sign, it will be really difficult to arrive at that place. So if we see that the place has no visible sign or indicators, of course, we cannot, within our project, we cannot put indicator signs, but we can put just on the Google map pin and write, this is the house or guest house or craft complex, and write a short information. And for future visitors, that will be easier to arrive at that place. Yeah, and tangible aspect as well as distinctive features like natural, architectural, artistic. We look all of them. We talked earlier why we consider them. And then intangible aspects, we have natural, cultural, spiritual ones, and social and historical one as well. So if you go to a house or to an old lady, for example, some elements from her house will be also from spiritual point of view really important. Maybe they won't be so important from the point of view of cultural heritage. But for her, that will be a spiritual aspect really important that can be as well promoted. And by the way, talking about that, I'm always showing my scarf, which actually is one that everybody in Moldova and probably in Poland knows as well, the one that is Tatiana as well wearing. These are actually from the past century, but they are not representative for our culture, from Republic of Moldova. But for me and for Tatiana, for example, they have a spiritual value because they were used by our grandmothers. So maybe from the point of view of universal importance of heritage, they don't mean anything. But when you'll have a visitor coming to an old lady that is still wearing this kind of scarves, and he will remember, oh, my grandma also used to have this one, but I don't have now. So for them, that will be a spiritual value. So please, when you take into consideration some places, don't forget about the spiritual part as well. It can be anything, so not exactly what I just showed as an example, but just to have an idea about what we are talking. So we are talking about intangible meaning as well. We're talking about customs, traditions, stories, and community values. In each community, you'll find different customs and traditions. For example, for winter time, for Christmas, for Easter period. Easter is coming. It's just right the moment to look for customs and traditions that are for the villages in the Easter times. And probably a challenge will be to find some traditions that are different from one village to another. So we have 5 villages in the program, and it will be interesting to see what traditions for Easter period are in each of them, and maybe to find something that is unique in one of them. Maybe something will be like in the all will be a common thing, and the common thing could be also used like from the point of view of the project in general, I mean, because you can make link through all the locations. So visit the InnoVillage geolocations and you'll see the customs and tradition in the Easter period. Yeah, like I'm passing already to the ICT part, but anyway, just to have any ideas for you. And then we create experience design when we have all that I talked till now in mind: custom, traditions, history, datings, description of landscape. All of that will help us to create and to design experiences. And experiences actually will develop emotions. So we can create emotions talking about a place, as I told you regarding our scarves, right? We can talk and create emotions talking about some universal concepts. We can write a theme for the place. Universal concept, I'm talking about wars, victories. So you don't need to go only to the bad things, but also to the good ones. But universal concept means something that is understood universally. So everybody knows what a war is, everybody knows what a victory is, but not everybody will know what means doine or what means dor. These are 2 words, for example, that are really difficult to be translated in English or in any other language because it has a more emotional feeling, but is more easier to be understood only in Moldova and Romania because we speak the same language. Yeah, so for international visitors, universal concepts are easier to be understood. Links. Identifying links will help to create connections, and I will try to explain. For example, in the Roman Empire, there was a road that connected from the Rome through Greece to Byzantium, and it was the Ignatia Street. And actually, for example, even now in some of the countries, in some of the cities still exists the Ignatia Street. For example, in Greece, there is Thessaloniki city, and the main road of the city is still having the name Ignatia Street. But actually the street as link is connecting all the Roman Empire from east to west. So that will make like a bigger view. Okay, I will try to make like this kind of examples so that to be wisely understood. Then we can make associations, identifying opportunities for links and correlations and associations. We can associate, for example, our Easter traditions with the Easter traditions from Poland, yeah, and to attract them and to show that we are a kind of something similar, but we still have something different. So talking about something that is similar will give us the opportunity to add something new to the knowledge they already have. And that will help us to create connections and future opportunities. And of course, for all that, we'll need then illustrations, photography, video, sounds, and remember about photographs that are also old, or some videos of the place, or some sounds that are recorded like previously, and now you can use as something made local. And we talked about accessibility, how easier it is to arrive to the place, physical, sign, transportation, communication, facility, pricing. So if we have a place, an entrance fee, for example, where you need to pay a fee, you'll inform your future visitors in advance. Okay, in Moldova, we don't have pricing really high to make afraid the visitors, but maybe in future there will be in the village like a package, come to spend one day in the village and you'll pay a certain fee for a certain activities. That also has to be taken into consideration. And mental accessibility. We are talking here about cognitive accessibility. So how accessible from the mind point of view is the place. If we have something that is really specific to the place, it will be difficult to explain to people that are there first time. But emotional, we can use universal concepts and personal attachments to make the visitor to understand. And visitor facilities, we're taking in consideration also the visitation schedules. By the way, if we have a rural house or a place, a craftsman, we'll announce the visitors that it is open only from, let's say, Monday to Sunday, or only from 12 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 o'clock in the evening. So we'll let the visitors know that there is a certain period of time when they can visit the place. We'll take in consideration to inform regarding parking, toilets, restrooms, place to rest, playgrounds, all of that depending on our audience. Because if you know that your audience will be visitors coming by cars, you have to inform them that there is a parking place. If you have visitors that will come with the kids, then you need a playground or some facilities for family with kids. If you don't have anything interesting for kids, then your promotion and your material will be designed in a way to be understood that this place is for adults and the experience and the activities are for adults. You don't need to write that this is for adults, but from your information, it will be clear and understandable. And then we have conversational issues. with local people. Here we have as well, we can take into consideration the culture, because, for example, if you go in a place where it's a monastery, then you should inform people to be dressed properly, because the issues, the conservation issue of the local people, their reaction can be it will be strange for them to see visitors coming into a church in a not proper way of dressing or some clothes. On the other hand, if you don't inform them, they also arriving as a visitor in this kind of places will not be comfortable with themselves. So it will be a discomfort for the both parts. So you should take that into consideration when you communicate something. And also you take into consideration the owner backgrounds of local community. And if they have like the mindset open to communicate with visitors from abroad, or maybe they can involve their sons and daughters and children and nephews that speak English or other languages, and could assist them in the communication with foreigner visitors. And we create, considering all this, we create a central message, a message that will attract a certain kind of visitor, a visitor that is informed about facilities, that knows or can suppose what emotion will experience at the place. He know how the place can be physically accessed. Knowing all these things, for him at the place will be easier to see everything, and to his perceptions of the place will be a better one. Because if he know that there is a bad road in advance, he will be prepared, and he will know that if he goes there is a bad road, but he knows about that, and he is okay with that, and he has no problem with that. But if you promote a destination accessible with the best highway in the world, and people will arrive there and it will be like a really bad road, that will be a problem, frustrations from the point of view of the visitors. Okay, I hope it's not too much for you as information, but I'm trying to explain and to let you know how important are all these elements. And as I told you, we have here also some examples based on the model I showed you just now. So we have here the asset is the wall, the fortification wall of an archaeological site, Philippi, located in Greece. I took it intentionally, not took something from Moldova, in order that to create you universal view, but you can adapt it to your location. So it's a building heritage because it's a wall. Its ownership is the Ministry of Culture and Sports from Greece, and it's UNESCO listed. What I told you, it's important for some visitors. It's important if the place it's UNESCO listed. And I will let you, maybe you already know, but I will just pass now so that you can note. In Moldova, we have a few intangible heritage listed in UNESCO. That is the traditional techniques of weaving all carpets. So in the UNESCO heritage, it's not listed the carpet itself, but the techniques that are used to create this carpet. Then recently, in last year, in the past December, it was listed in UNESCO heritage, the traditional blouse with altice. Altice means this model that is embroidered on the shoulder, and it's horizontal. And we have also Mertishor, also listed in the traditional UNESCO listed as an intangible heritage. And the singing carols, Chate de Bărbați, that means a group of men singing carols. So these are elements that are listed in UNESCO Heritage from Moldova that, by the way, can be used by every village if there is still the tradition of wedding or carpets, or Mărțișor tradition, which, as far as I know, it's used in every village. And if there is a place where the traditional blouse with Altice is still created. So, and you can refer to the fact that you have listed UNESCO heritage in your village. Then we have the tangible aspects, the description of the place. So I will just skip this, but you'll have the presentation anyway. So it's a brief description of the place. Then the landscape visibility. So here there's also considering when the place can be visited. So from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Where there are like coach parking, ticket offices, every information that needed to be known for the future visitors. We have distinctive features of the natural, architectural, and ecosystem here described. And then we pass to the most challenging part, the intangible values, natural, cultural, spiritual, social, and historical. And all these values can be combined in one place, because in most of the location we have natural values because we have specific flora and fauna. We have cultural one, we have spiritual one. We already talked about the intangible heritage, so we even listed UNESCO. And historic, we have history in every location. Maybe the history is not important from all the world or all the planet, but for a certain place or area, that history will be really important. Yeah, and here we have the historical importance of these walls, and the complex Philippi in general is actually summarizing all that is written here. You'll read later on, but summarizing that it's written here is the fact that the battle from Philippi later on influenced the directions of development of Roman Empire from the one side. From the other side, the city of Philippi, which now is an archaeological place, is a place where was founded the first Christian church in Europe by St. Paul himself. So it's also the launch of religious in the west of Europe, but anyway, from that place it was spread all around Europe, the Christian religions. So you can see here how one place can have different values, like political values, or like religious values. It not necessarily need to have everything in one place. This is just an example because the place is like a point with different directions, but anyway, letting you know about the possibilities. So the place remained really known for the future times. And here we have as well intangible meanings. So something that is not visible necessary. So we're talking about customs, traditions, stories, community values. And here talking about community values, we can talk also about the Apostle Paul so the establishment of first Christian church in Europe, we can talk about the how this city influenced the Western civilization. It was actually a settlement created by the King Philip I, the father of Alexander the Great. So knowing some part of the history, you can understand how important for the humanity is this place. Our role probably is also to find something really important in our villages in order that to make them known. And that can be also traditions and stories from local people, from local community, not necessary to have to influence the evolution of Roman Empire. So that's not necessary. Talking, by the way, about the carpet and the carpet waving shows a lot of knowledge in one single person. And that shows the evolution of the community, because having the knowledge of waving the carpets means to have some shepherds around you with sheep, means to know how to prepare the wool that will be later on will become threads, needs to knowledge in how to dye the wool with natural dyes, and natural dyes will mean using plants from around your area, so involving the nature. And you need to know when exactly you need to collect that plant. For example, some of the plants you collect them early in the morning, some of them you collect them in the afternoon, some of them you'll collect in the blooming period, the others you'll collect later on during the summertime. From all these categories will depend how the color of your dye will be. And on the other hand, these plants could be also used for teas and even for some medical uses. So the woman that collects the plants for dyeing or for making teas has to know, sorry, already thinking about the tea.
Tatiana.
Thank you. I need probably tea collected by a local woman from the woods. So you can point how important is this knowledge for local community, for a local woman, so that she make teas or make dyes from the plants that later on will be transposed into carpets. And knowing as well that waving a carpet means work all around the year. So remember, transforming the wool into the threads, then dyeing the threads, then starting the waving process. And the waving process will take as well 5-6 months or even more, depending on the dimension of the carpet. Knowing all these things and then transmitted them to the future visitors, when they will arrive at the local community, they will understand better the values. They will understand better the value of the tea that was prepared from the plants, because they will know that that was not like bought from the supermarket and then give to you. They'll know why the cost of the woven carpets is so high, because actually knowing all the process and all the elements will give you the idea that actually is cheap, it's too cheap for all the enormous work that is done. So we need to pass to understand for ourselves the first, what are these intangible meanings and values, and then to let know the future visitors about all of that. And in this case, when they will arrive to the local communities, to the villages, they already will be prepared and will appreciate the right value, what they see and what they find there. Okay, and with all that in mind, we can develop like a multisensory experience. We can use physical aspects, like having emotions by walking through the site monuments, through parks, through woods. We can have visual, having contact on the visit site, on the archaeological. In this case, we are talking about the archaeological place, but in the other situation, we'll talk about something else. Auditory, we need to use storytelling. We already talked about that, and you have also a workshop on the storytelling, so that to transmit everything that you know about the community through the storytelling in the way that will be easier to understood for the tourist. We can develop sensory experiences through gastronomy, through any other emotions or digital tools. Actually, your digital tools will be already a pre-preparation for the future experience. So they already will create some emotions, some feelings. If we talk about directly about this place, so Philippi, then we talk here about different emotions. So it's the foundation of the city by Thracians. Then we have sorrow about the displacement of Trajan. Then it might the might of King Philip and his expansions of the city. Then we can admire the technology and cultural advancement of the city under Philip, because this city exactly under the Philip was fortified, was created a theater there, and only after that it started to be called Philip. It's due to the fact that it was like made to be better in the future by the King Philip. And then we appreciate the expansion of Roman colony. And then we have the transition to Christianity, because remember, it's the place where Apostle Paul came. And then we can have sorrows for the decline of the city, because nowadays the city is not a functional one, it's only an archaeological place. So we can have different emotions at a certain place. So we probably should start to work on the way that we don't have later on sorrows for declining of our villages. So we actually are working to have good emotions in the future as well. And we already talked about the fact that writing some themes for our community, for our villages, can take into consideration some universal values like wars or victory, because these can be understood by everyone. So in a place it was a war, and the conflict like developed like that, and the effects of that war were like these ones, or the victory, actually, depending on the point of view of how we are looking at this. And if we are talking about identifying opportunities for links, correlation, association, we can talk about the fact that the Battle of Philippi, that means the battle from this archaeological site, Philippi, decided the future of Rome, because Philippi was on the Egnatia Way. Remember, I told you the major leading into Europe, the major road. It was also a place strategically located near gold mines, protected by Acropolis. It was, in spite of this commercial importance, most of the colony's residents likely lived in agrarian rural settlements. So you can see different, so we have gold mines, but also we have agrarian rural settlements in the same place. and we have the Philippine church as the first church in Europe. It's actually at the moment known as the first place recorded the baptism in Europe. So the associations could be in different directions as we see in this example. So let's work a little bit together. I would like to stop a little bit the screening, the sharing, and would ask you to open your mics and let's select one village, or at least someone from the village, or not necessarily from the village, but maybe from the ICT talents, if can let us know a short information about the values, or I mean, natural, cultural, anything you remember while I was talking. Maybe you already were thinking about your potential. And let's make like this exercise and we'll try to work on it. So let's select a place that you think it's most important for your village. That can be nature, that can be building, that can be traditions, anything. And anything and anyone, doesn't matter where you are from. Sorry for that. Okay, let's think for 1 minute, and then we'll ask someone. ICT talents, if you don't know exactly enough regarding the village you will work for, you can think about any village you know and just present us that study case. So it's as an option. So anyone who wants to volunteer for that? Or at least is anyone present here, or only me with Tatiana and Joanna?
Girls, please let us know you are at least with us.
Anyone made a sign in the chat at least that you are hearing us?
Hi everyone, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, hello.
Hello. It's very interesting presentation. Thank you. This is Tatiana. It's very interesting. I didn't know about these specific particularities about UNESCO sites. So it's very important. This is something new for me. I think that according to promotion of villages, so about destinations, it's very important to find a story tale or maybe a fair about about this location to attract just tourists, and around this fairy tale to build something else with all necessary stuff that we need in tourism. Because tourists in Moldova, I think, came for experience, for feelings, for our nature, for our resources, for human, for gastronomy, and so on. So we have to mix them together and to find a new approach and present this heritage that we have in our country.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Indeed, storytelling can be a way of being different from the other villages, because maybe the assets, either national or UNESCO assets, could be the same, like the waving of the carpets, but the story behind a craftsman or a woman waving that carpet will be certainly different, and that can make us special from that village to another one. So thank you.
We were thinking with our team, we have Puhaceni, so village, and during our meeting with our group, with our team, we discussed about Puhacha, so this species of Bufnica, I forget in English, so and about the name of this village. So it's so interesting, and I don't know how this village don't have at the moment festival of Puhachelor or something else, because it's so marketingable. So it's so Instagrammable. And and this is only the story of this village, so on this name, and anybody knows about this. So and I have some tips according to this workshop, and I have noticed for myself some ideas so that we could implement according to this village.
That's great. I'm glad that the workshop was useful and with new ideas for you. And actually, that's why I recommend to you and to the villages to look for analyzing the village from different points of view, even looking for stories, even looking for some historical information of the place, and that will give you hints for your future project. Because while looking for additional information and trying to put on paper and writing in this village in, I don't know, 19th century passes the queen, I don't know which. She only passed through the village, but actually from here you can try to organize an entire story. And I'm talking also from my experience, because actually I was telling that story to the study visit, the last one we had in the weekend, but now I will make it published as well to all of the groups. And it was actually, I had a study on the statement of significance on some of the location from Moldova, and one of the location was as well the pedestrian streets from Chisinau, the pedestrian street Eugen Toga. Of course, the street has a lot of historical information with a lot of buildings around there, families of nobles living on that street, the Second World War moments, like the tanks of German army and the tanks of Russian army were having a fight in that place. But all that I was finding was like, okay, this war was in other cities as well, in other streets as well, so it's nothing special. Well, it's special, but not specific, let's say. And in one moment, I found the information that actually this street was one of the first places from Chisinau where a picture was took. So actually, till nowadays, this pedestrian street is a place where people will go for a walk, for meeting friends or their loves, and they all will make pictures there. So it's actually a tradition that is kept alive till nowadays. So this street is the street where the first picture in Chisinau appeared, and is a place that still continues to capture the life of the city, let's say. Now everybody is doing that, but still it's something that started from exactly that street. So sometimes history of the places, of the villages, can be not necessarily linked to some international events or World War or I don't know, something like that. But it could be something specific to that area, but that has really an important element of the place. And as Donna Veronica said as well, yes, it's really interesting why Puhaceni don't have a festival to this to this dedication. We should talk to them.
Every village has a festival. I don't know how much don't have.
Yeah, we'll give them this idea. Absolutely.
If I can add something,
Yes,
you
please,
tell
Joanna.
about the story about the passing queen, and exactly we have this story in my region. The Queen Jadwiga. Jadwiga was one and only woman in Polish history which was a king. What means she was coronated for the king of the Poland, and another woman was only a queen, and she was a king. And she usual passing when she go around the Poland, she often be in near the place where I live, and we have many stories where this queen is involved. I'm not sure that is really true, but now many stories start that, oh, the Queen Jadwiga was here and she do something, and she was a sponsor of a church. She do something, and we have many local stories. I don't know that that is a historical fact that she must be in this area, but we don't really know what she do there. But during the years, the people somewhere remember that she was there, and we still have this story about the Queen Jadwiga. So that is interesting when you tell this. And in my experience like archaeologist, that I know that the story is the beginning of all of this thing. All of storytelling must start from the researching, and that is cool that you are tell about all these things, Tatiana, because next week I will be spoke about the storytelling, and my first recommendation which I plan give for everyone is a start for the research, and what all you present is perfect to this research. And what I want to tell now, that is not must be some huge story. In my village, we start collect some super local stories, and honestly, my father is the master of the local stories. And when someone comes, he always the guide, and he know many things because he remembered the story from her father and grandpa and another member of our villages. And in all village live that kind of person which have the knowledge about own knowledge or collect this knowledge. So who is always was interesting about the local history. And we always have this person that is good to find this person in your villages and find some super local history. For example, in my village, we have a local teacher which built a school, and we don't celebrate that, but it's super important person in our village. So if someone spoke about who is important person for for the village, and you always can say that it was the Polish Pope, but the truth is it was this teacher, and many, especially old people, always remember this person, and we start add this teacher to our local stories.
Thank you, Joanna, very much. Indeed, as you said, all the stories and the storytelling must have as a background local facts. So we don't invent anything. we present the information in a way that visitors can understand it, to make them more easier to be understood, to make it more catchy, let's say. But I wouldn't recommend to invent some historical facts about a place, because, as well as Joanna said, there is enough stories that you could collect from local people, and that could be like recent history. We don't need to go back, I don't know, in the prehistorical times. And regarding the collection of histories, I will write you in the group of InnoVillage Club. I will put there a link, because I created not so recently, but anyway, I created a group on Facebook where I invite everyone to write stories that they hear in their villages from local people. So if you'll find a lot of stories and you want them to write them somewhere, please be free to do that. I will put the link in the group, because my intention is to collect as many stories as possible from all around the villages of our country. Some of them maybe you'll use in this project, some of them maybe we'll use them in some other projects, but at this stage we just collect. And you can write there even stories from your village or the stories you've heard from any other village, because you'll be amazed how many they could be and how different. And yes, later on, they could lead to some research of historical fact, because they can work on the one way or on another as well. So thank you, Joanna, for your input, because I also add here some additional information. So in the group later on, I will put there the information. I built actually the workshop in a way that the first part is like me talking, and in the next stage, working together with ideas and based on what I presented. I would like to ask you at this stage if you have any questions regarding everything I talked till now, or maybe not necessarily regarding what I talked, but you have just a question that appeared in mind, and if I can, I will answer to you.
Maybe some talents who were on study visit would like to share their opinion and ideas caught and researched and collected from the local talents, from the sites you visit. Who would like to present? Maybe I'll be in the role of ICT talent, and I'll share my idea.
Please, Tatiana, because otherwise I am afraid that my message was too complicated or it was too clear.
I would like to share my thoughts about Mitok village. We were study visiting last Sunday. Yeah, we went there on Sunday, and I discovered Mitok from an unknown perspective. Superficially, it has historical site, which is Tumul, archaeological site, which has a special story about this, which I'm not gonna tell you now, because some of them maybe know, or it's too long to talk about. But I discovered different cultures, and they were mixed. Not only Moldovan, it's not pure Moldovan culture, but it's a mix of culture. For example, there is craftsman. It's a special with a special title. I did not know that there are different categories of craftsmen. So the title is Meșterpaur. Alexandra Morar. She is knitting from hotel, papura, if Moldovan can understand me better. So she used to transform regular things, a regular piece of material of cotton or I don't know how it would be in English, in pieces of art. And everything she does with hands, she uses in her house, and she used to sell. And she told us that it is a very common activity, household activity from the past, because they have the raw material, the cattle, all around the village. But about gastronomy, it has a mix of culture, because the owner of the restaurant, he used to travel a lot. He was in 10 different countries and have collected different recipes on how to prepare the meat. And now he is producing and selling in his restaurant healthy, prepared kind of meat, like carne afumată. I don't know how to say in English. I need to check.
I think
that.
it's smoked.
Yes,
meat.
smoked various very delicious pieces of meat. And there is a museum, and it has articles from all over the world. The owner has traveled to, and he has the story for every piece, and it's very interesting to discover from this region, because in past it was very populated with Evrei. Tatiana, can you help me? Jewish, and they used to travel a lot, and probably history has the footprint on this area, because we people are traveling, coming back, and share the mix of culture collected from different parts of the world. This is how I understand Mitalk, and this is ideas how I would create a digital solution, articles, stories of the villages to capture like minds and people who are willing to know and share the same interests, let's say, because they are becoming the potential visitors of the villages.
Thank you, Tatiana, very much. Indeed, what we saw at Mitalk, and knowing all the ways of analysis of allocations gives you ideas for how to promote better the place. Because, for example, the same place as Tatiana told us where you can eat something, I am passing through that area at least once a month, and I would never stop there, because the building from outside for me doesn't look catchy or interesting and things like that. I wouldn't have even the necessity to stop there to eat something, because my way to the north is not so long. So It's actually not a needed stop, let's say. But now, as I was there, I assure you that I will come there later, because actually the owners are doing the meat by themselves. All that is necessary, for example, for the smoked meat, they are keeping it in a special ingredients for 2 months. Later on, they are put it in this system where they smoked the meat. And they do that everything. And then they buy the meat from the local community, but they have their doctor that will go there, check first the animal, and later on he will buy the meat. So he won't buy meat from an animal that he doesn't know how it was, his health, and so on. So I know that all the process is controlled, and I can be sure that the meat that is there is a healthy one, and it will be a healthy one for my family. And on the other hand, they have an amazing pizza doing there, which our team already saw and tasted, and a mix of local food and not local food. But for me, the place is not so important as a place with local food or not, but specifically that I know how much care they have to the part of the culinary. And actually they were inspired from from Italy, where the place is not so fancy. So they didn't invest in decoration, but they invest in qualitative food, which is more important for the people in general. And that message should be transmitted to the future visitors, because they should be informed, look at this place because of that and that and that. And that is the job of the storytelling. So knowing already the background, you already know how to transmit the information later on, because I already saw this, and for me, I already know that I will go there. I don't need a storytelling. But without knowing everything, I wouldn't even look at that place. First, because I don't need a stop there. The second, because, well, from outside, it doesn't look for me interesting. But if I would find something on internet about it, I definitely, at least once, will go there to try the place. And if I like, then of course I will go more time. So analyzing the place and the history and how the food is prepared, how the crafts are working, collecting the materials for their work, is really important to be known, because that will help you also in the storytelling, and that will help also the future visitors to understand the value of the place. So thank you, Tatiana, for the input, because actually it was really a good one, but I forgot about that.
If I can tell something more about this, that is what Polish people search. That is exactly what they want to do and they want to try when they go somewhere. They don't need another fast food. They really like some original local food. So the eating in Poland is super important. And now in Poland, we are super involved in all program with cooking, about the opinion about the restoration, and it's a many channel in social media where go somewhere and judging that it was good or not, and all these channels are super popular. So I think it's good to know, because if some Polish people know, oh, this is this kind of restoration, I think 9 to 10 Polish tourists won't go there, because that is exactly what we are expecting where we go somewhere, and we really like eat a good food. Even we must pay more for that. So that is what exactly Polish tourists searching in Poland and in different countries.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, nowadays, more and more people are paying attention more on what they eat, and knowing a place where they take care of the food is really important. And actually, I would say that this specific place is not more expensive than you eat to another area. So actually, it's really affordable considering the price and the quality. So you even don't need to go there for the food because the price is higher, because actually you'll pay more or less the same that you pay in a normal pizzeria, more or less, at least what I saw from the pricing. So this is really also important. You pay an affordable price for a qualitative food.
Oh, so that is better.
Yes.
What I can tell that I think in Poland we have something what I can call the kitchen tourism, that many people can go to some random place only to the restaurant. That is can be only one thing in area, but if it's some way unique, and the restaurant make promotion, because without promotion it can happen, and someone know that even me and my family, when we travel, sometimes we are searching that during our road we have some place where we can go eat something special. So that is so the kitchen is always a good thing which can use to the promotion some places.
Yeah, sorry, Tatiana. We even talked with the team that everybody will make a review to the TripAdvisor to recommend this place for a stop. So that will be like an added value for the place. Sorry, Tatiana.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that Ioana, you are telling about a normal practice or a very known practice in Poland to map the sites, to indicate on the map where is it to find. Because in Moldova, it is you rather find restaurants which are not very promoting itself, and they are known only for locals and maybe region. But if I'm traveling and I'm not from the region, I have no idea what is the place and what it offers to me. So I'm passing by and I will never discover. I need an InnoVillage program to get know about good food and good smoked meat.
That means that our program is useful and and will be work. So that is mean it was necessary to do this program. So yes, I think that is really important. Even what you are saying, the whole process of preparing the food in Poland now is super important, and everyone starts. Sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes in Poland, some restaurants start lying about that, because they know that it's so important, that writing that we are preparing everything in our restaurant, we are buy from the local people, we are checking that's food. And sometimes unfortunately people lie, but mostly no, and people start building the unique of the place, of something what is in the first place we're thinking, oh, that is a normal. If I want to have a restaurant, I want to have a good quality food, and I will be focused of something local. But it's not. And in Poland before was the same like in Moldova. No one tell about these places, and no one know these places. Now we have a lot of program in TV about kitchen, and we have a program which is called Kitchen Revolution, and I think it's this TV program changed a lot. So in Poland, in tourism, and this kitchen or restaurant tourism, I don't know how we should call it.
Well, probably at least InnoVillage will be a first step for at least this location, because actually they do a great job, and even pizza, they don't have it pre-prepared, so they do from zero when the order is coming from the client. So they don't have it in the fridge and then just cook it. Things that are actually really important, and even you know that it's more valuable because you understand that actually even the taste is changing when it's a fried one and then cooked, and when it's prepared from the scratch when the order is coming from the client. And I think these elements are stories that should be used in the promotion of this place, because I wouldn't even think that they prepared everything from the scratch in the moment that I would order. Because usually, as you said, they have something pre-prepared and just cook when the client arrives, or maybe not all the products are local and so on. So what actually for them seems to be like normal, not all the times for the visitors is clear that it's this way or another. So informing the future visitors about the places and all what they offer is really challenging, because I'm saying that actually we should talk to the visitors as we would talk to an extraterrestrial, because we don't imagine what he knows or what he supposes, what he thinks. So we should just give the information and not assuming that this is clear from the beginning without informing it. So this is actually the ICT talent's job, which I'm sure it will be done successfully. Well, maybe as Tatiana wrote, maybe someone wants to speak and it's easier for them in our local language. So please be free to do it. Otherwise, you'll have the presentation. You'll receive it probably by mail. I don't know. I will pass it to Tatiana, and then she will send it to you, so that you can look at it later on and make some notes. Or
Tatiana, I think you can post in our InnoVillage Club, because it's a group designated for general communication.
Then I will add it as a document in the InnoVillage Club page, and you can take it from there and look. And if you have any questions regarding it later on, please be free to write to me. I will try to answer and to make it clear. It will be easier now talking, but we can do it later by messages.
Okay, if we are done at this stage and the workshop is finished, maybe we will leave us with excitement about the next study visit plans, because some of you already have the ideas and can evaluate the village sites, but some of you are still researching and waiting for the practical part of this journey, the study visit. We are going to have the next study visit on 1st of April and on 8th of April. Further, I will communicate directly to the team to organize and plan in detail our trip. Thank you all, and I wish you a great week ahead.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So I finished our presentation on Zoom, on